Analysts at Consumer Edge said in a note Friday, Tesla Incorporated may be falling short of its production goals for the Model 3, but investors may not necessarily care. The analysts, led by James Albertine, said, Tesla likely will be making 2,000 Model 3 sedans a week by the end of this month, below its target of churning out 2,500 of the key mass-market vehicles. Consumer Edge recently hosted meetings with Tesla executives, and the potential Model 3 production miss was one of its key takeaways after the discussions. Consumer Edge kept its buy rating on Tesla unchanged, with a price target of $385, which would represent 20% upside from Friday close. Even before the meetings, the analysts were not counting on 2,500 Model 3s a week by the end of first quarter, they said. The analyst said, the production ramp is complex and Tesla is being prudent by focusing on quality versus quantity in this early production phase. We also believe many investors would view a figure of 2,000 or greater by 1Q end as a positive, as it would indicate significant progress. The Silicon Valley carmaker kept mum on a Model 3 reservation count, a number it hasn't updated since August, when it said it had 455,000 reservations. Consumer Edge said, Tesla believes in pent-up demand for the Model 3 that cannot be seen through changes in reservations. Tesla said in January it would be making 5,000 Model 3 sedans a week by the end of the second quarter. Tesla originally said it would ramp up Model 3 production to 5,000 sedans a week in 2017 and then on to 10,000 a week in 2018, but it pushed back its 2017 goal to late in the first quarter of 2018 and then again to end of second quarter. If it misses its latest deadline, the company is likely to get a pass. The Consumer Edge analyst said, many investors are looking for Tesla to achieve that 5,000 unit production rate sometime in the end of the second half of the year, not necessarily by the end of June. They said, given Tesla's focus on quality, the complexity involved and TSLA's history achieving production guidance, we think the street has some cushion relative to current guidance. And if Tesla achieves the 5,000 goal it will not need to raise additional capital. The analyst said they also had conversations about executive turnover at Tesla, given recent senior-level departures that included John McNeil and Eric Branderiz, Tesla's former sales and service head and chief accountant. They said, based on our conversations with management, we do not believe there is a serious issue driving these exit decisions and we would caution against reading too much into these headlines at this time. Tesla will need to replace the role of Chief Operating Officer or Head of Services at some point. Tesla shares have gained 23% in the past 12 months, which compares with 16% gains for the S&P 500 index in the same period.
According to Nissan Design Europe boss Mamoru Aoki, Nissan's upcoming pure electric crossover will be the breakthrough model that makes battery electric vehicles truly mainstream. Speaking at Nissan's Design Center in London, Aoki told Autocar, of course, we have the new Leaf, but I think the production version of the IMX concept will become a breakthrough model. The IMX concept made its debut at the Tokyo show last October, promising a 380-mile range on a single charge and a dual-motor all-wheel drive powertrain with a proposed 429 bhp and 516 pounds-ft of torque. Nissan also says the next generation of its autonomous ProPilot technology will be featured on the IMX. Aoki said, the IMX is not just a concept car. In a few years, it will appear in production, hinting that it could do for Nissan what the first Qashqai crossover managed when it was launched in 2007. According to some analysts, his enthusiasm for the IMX is not just because it will enter a booming sector. Crossover sales could account for 34% of the European market by 2020. But because the taller package takes best advantage of Nissan's EV platform. Aoki said, The interior is notably bigger than with a conventional vehicle, and there's much more usable space thanks to the totally flat floor allowed by the underfloor battery pack. The dashboard is also pushed right back towards the windscreen because the heating, ventilation and aircon HVAC unit is under the bonnet. He said, "The overall cabin concept reflects Japanese architecture and interior design, because traditional Japanese houses are tiny and some rooms have to be multi-purpose in their use." Aoki was also keen to point out the unusual interior trim in the IMX, which is an alternating laminate of wood and translucent plastic that can be illuminated from behind, a hint, perhaps, that this clever finish is heading for production. Aoki told Autocar that the exterior of the IMX is a clear indication of Nissan's next-generation design language, and the intention is to be closer to the company's Japanese roots. He said the IMX does not have a masculine look or a heavy appearance of the type that is now common for mainstream combustion engine vehicles. It has a light feel and sheer surfaces. The exterior is very Japanese in its details, expressive but with purity and inexpensive feeling. Aoki, who has been in charge of Nissan's Paddington studio for only a few months, joined Nissan in 1989 and oversaw the design of 3 Infiniti models as well as the original 350Z sports car. The first car he was entirely responsible for was the highly regarded Primera Mk1.
Following Toyota's romantic RAV4 silhouette teaser shot yesterday, Subaru is officially joining in the compact crossover titillating game with a glimpse of the 2019 Forester. Subaru has toyed with pincer-shaped taillights for a few years on its Visive concepts. The Ascend concept wore another version of the design, but the production Ascend got fitted with a set of highly unoffensive lamps. Looks like the Forester earns the retail nod for the conceptual units, and with it, a wider cargo opening. The taillights on the present Forester impose a scalloped-shut line on the tailgate. The split units in this teaser let designers push the tailgate edge just a few inches from the edge of the car. The Ascend could make its presence felt elsewhere, though. We've made out a couple of the flowing character lines underneath camouflage on Forester prototypes that match the Ascend's flanks. Up front, the 2019 Forester gets a much more upright schnoz reminiscent of the Ascend. The two vehicles differ in grille treatment. The Forester carries over its general design from the current car, but replaces the thick geometric bars with thin streaks similar to the Ascend's. Although larger than the current Forester, we don't expect huge growth anywhere. Migrating to Subaru's global platform will make the most of the incremental gains. The much smaller Impreza added 3 additional cubic feet of cargo room after its switch to the SGP. We don't know if engines will be included in the under-the-skin overhaul, but a welcome swap would be adding the Ascen's 2.4-liter turbo to the lineup. That lump produces 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, trumping the 250 horsepower and 258 pounds FT in the current top-tier Forester 2.0 XT Premium. Spy photographers caught the Forester testing alongside a new Honda CR-V and a Volkswagen Tiguan, which means we could be in for a new level of feature and dynamic polish. What we can rely on is a selection of 4-cylinder boxer engines and CVTs, plus updated EyeSight driver assistance tech. The debut happens in exactly 2 weeks at the New York Auto Show, the showroom appearance late this year.
Don't panic if you are a Model 3 reservation holder in Europe and haven't received an invite to order your electric cars. Tesla is still months away from officially bringing the car to Europe. However, the first Model 3 vehicles are nonetheless now going for sale in Europe on the grey market. When a vehicle is popular enough but not yet available in a market, Some resellers will often try to get their hands on it in another market and import it themselves in order to try to turn a profit. It's often called a grey market. We saw it happen with the Tesla Model X in China, with vehicles going for as much as 40% over the regular price, $240 KUS, when supply was still limited in the country. Now it appears to be happening in Europe for the Model 3. It's especially surprising considering the availability of the Model 3 is still limited in the US, the only market where it's officially available, but there are still plenty available on the used market, and now it looks like people are buying them and bringing them to Europe for reselling. Several vehicles are showing up on Germany's Mobilde website, with some vehicles already in Germany while others are still in the US. The vehicles feature a significant premium over the price of a new Model 3, with the cheapest one being about $12,000 more expensive than new before VAT. Several Model 3 vehicles have been spotted in Europe lately, some of which have presumably been imported by German automakers to benchmark and reverse engineer. Electrek reported on 2 Tesla Model 3 vehicles spotted in air freight inbound for Germany earlier this year, and a few weeks later, there were reports of the Model 3 impressing a German automaker after being reverse engineered by a team hired by the company. While these vehicles can now be seen around Europe, Tesla is officially only launching the Model 3 on the old continent Europe in late 2018.